Hey everybody, I'm JJ, you're watching Reality Survival, and today we're going to be doing a reaction video from, I'm going to be reacting to a script that was produced by Open AI Chat GPT. Now this is a new beta version. It's just recently gone public, and you can sign up for an account. If you just Google Open AI Chat GPT, it'll take you to the link. You create an account, you can go in there, and you can ask it questions, and you can ask it to do things for you. And what I did in this one is I went in and said, hey, can you produce me a YouTube video script for the top 17 ways to prepare for an EMP? And so this is the script that popped out, right? And I did another one. You guys probably seen the video where I did the one on top 10 ways to, what was it, top 10 tips to survive a nuclear fallout. And so that was really interesting how it came out. I think like 9 out of 10 of them were very valid. One of them wasn't good, but you know, check that video out too if you want. But it's pretty interesting. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know about some giveaways that we're going to be doing. We're approaching 100,000 subscribers. When we hit that 100,000 subscriber point, we're going to launch giveaways for the free subscribers over on Patreon, as well as the paid subscribers over, not Patreon, on Substack. So if you go to realitysurvival.substack.com, you can choose either a free membership or a paid one. Doesn't really matter which one. If you choose to do a paid one, you're basically supporting me in my efforts to educate people about disaster preparedness without using fear porn. So there's that. What kind of giveaways are we going to be having? So we've got some, got a couple of Bear Min 2.0, which is new trauma kits from Jase Medical. I'm an affiliate with pretty much all of these companies. If you use the discount code Reality Survival, then you can save 20% over, or no, 10% over at refugemedical.com. We've got a couple of these extra carry magazine, universal magazine holders that are designed to look like a pocket knife in your pocket so that people don't see that you're carrying an extra magazine. We've got an EMP Shield Micro from EMPshield.com. If you use discount code Reality Survival here, you can save $50 per unit, which is really pretty cool. And as you'll see, there's a lot of reasons why you might want one of these on your vehicle. I've also got a survival kit that was sent out by Mike from On Scene Alert, and this is a pretty cool, just a vehicle survival kit, and I'm just adding this into the video. He has a digital product called On Scene Alerts. It's from onscenealert.com, and it gives you 3 times a week. It'll give you a global intel brief on all the stuff that's going on around the world, and it's really very prepper-centric, prepper-focused on, you know, supply chains and different kinds of threats and all that kind of stuff. It's a really good product. I get a lot of information from it. And then they also send you text alerts anytime there's like an active shooter or some kind of a threat situation going on that you need to know about. They'll send you text alerts right to your phone. So if you use discount code over there, Reality Survival, it'll save you 30%. I think that takes it down to like $7 a month. It's a really cool service. Then we've got some Kershaw knives. This is, I think, called the Kershaw Grid or something like that. Pretty cool little EDC knife. And then we also have a little tactical pen from Atomic Bear. So, oh no, and then we've got the seeds from survivalgardenseeds.com, and this is the homesteader pack. We're going to have 3 of these, and that'll be the it's 50 heirloom seeds, which is going to be important to have a garden over the next several years probably. So anyway, that's kind of a look at some of the stuff we're going to be giving away. I'm going to be trying to add more to that as well as we get closer to that time frame. So the more you guys share this video, click the thumbs up, and you know, all that kind of stuff, then the faster we'll get to that giveaway so that we can get going with it. All right, now let's go ahead and get to the script that OpenAI produced for me. This is a really cool. This is just a really cool system. It's very interesting to me how it thinks and how it works. All right. So it says, "Hi and welcome to this video on the top 17 ways to prepare for an EMP. An EMP, or electromagnetic pulse, is a sudden burst of electromagnetic radiation that can be caused by a variety of events such as a solar flare or a nuclear detonation. An EMP can cause damage or destroy, can damage or destroy electronic devices and systems, disrupting communications and critical infrastructure. If an EMP were to occur, it could have serious consequences for society, so it's important to be prepared. Here are the top 17 ways to prepare for an EMP. Number 1, keep a stockpile of non-perishable food and water. In the event of an EMP, you may not have access to food or water for an extended period of time. Keep a stockpile of non-perishable food and water to help you get through the first few days after the event." Okay, so good item, right? Keep non-perishable food and water. The only thing is it kind of says like it's only going to be the first few days after the event. So you obviously should want to stockpile enough food or water to last several months, a minimum of 3, I think, and then would be better if you could get closer to a year as opposed to a few days. But hey, I mean, it's a computer, so let's see what else it has to say. Number 2, have a backup plan for communication. In the event of an EMP, traditional forms of communication like cell phones and the internet may not be available, will not be available. Have a backup plan in place such as CB radio or ham radio to help you stay in touch with loved ones and get updates on the situation. Practical advice, that's good. You need to make sure that those radios are also protected in, Faraday cage or something along those lines, because you wouldn't want them to be destroyed during the EMP event as well. And again, that all depends on where you are related to where ground zero is and how. There's a lot of variables, but as a general rule, if it's protected in a Faraday cage, then it would be better. Okay, number 3. Keep a supply of cash on hand. If the grid goes down, credit card machines and ATMs may not be available. Keep a supply of cash on hand to use in case of emergency. Practical advice. That's good. Number 4. Keep important documents in a safe place. Keep important documents like birth certificates, insurance policies, and passports in a safe place where they won't be damaged in the event of an EMP. Okay, that makes sense. Number 5, have a backup source of light and heat. In the event of an EMP, you may not have access to electricity. Have a backup source of light and heat, such as flashlight, candles, or a wood stove to help you get through the first few days. Okay, so that one doesn't really go into much detail. It's very generic. And again, it only says that it's going to help you get through the first few days. Right, so that's not really having a great full understanding of what's actually going to happen. And I have several videos on EMPs for those of you who are new to the channel or haven't seen me before. I've got several playlists on EMPs. You can go through and see those where it talks more in depth about what we could actually be looking at. Okay, so number 6, keep a supply of medical supplies. Have a supply of medical supplies on hand, including over-the-counter medications, bandages, and other first aid items. Yeah, that's good. Good advice. Know how to shut off utilities. If the EMP damages the power grid, it's important to know how to shut off your utilities to prevent further damage. I don't know that that's necessarily going to be necessary. If the grid's down, you don't necessarily have to turn it off, but isolating your house from the grid, if you could do it in time, is fine. That would be okay. Okay, and then it stopped after that one. And so I had to put into the chat, why did you stop? And then it said, sorry for the delay, and here's the rest of your script. And it went on to this next part. So number 8 says, know how to manually operate your well pump. If the power grid goes down, you may not have access to running water. Know how to manually operate a well pump to get water from your well. Okay, good advice. How to manually get water out of a well. We've talked about that in past videos too. But most people don't have a well. So it's not really addressing the widest range of audience. It's only addressing people who would have a well, but it might not know that, you're right, because it's just pulling from other information on the internet. So that's interesting. Number 9, have a backup generator. If you need to power essential appliances like a fridge or a sump pump, consider getting a backup generator. Make sure to keep it properly maintained and have enough fuel on hand to run it. That's good. That's good. Again, it doesn't talk about additional context like, things like security and the fact that it's going to attract other people and all that. And that shouldn't stop you from having a generator. We've talked about this in other videos. You still have to be willing to and ready to defend your property no matter what. But those are considerations you might want to think about. Okay, that was 9. So number 10, keep a supply of tools. Have a supply of tools on hand to help you with tasks like repairing damaged structures or equipment. That's a good one. I think tools, I've talked about this in other videos, tools might be worth more than gold after any kind of a big collapse kind of scenario. Know how to purify water. If you don't have access to clean water, you'll need to know how to purify it. There are several methods you can use, such as boiling, filtering, or using water purification tablets. Okay. Number 12, know how to start a fire. In the event of an EMP, you may not have access to modern methods of starting a fire. Know how to start a fire using methods like a fire starter stick or a flint and steel. So that's a little weird. I don't know, like a fire starter stick. I'm not sure what a fire starter stick is, or a flint and steel. They're probably talking about a ferro rod. But okay. I mean, it's good to know how to make a fire. That's true. Number 13, how to find and collect food. In the event of an EMP, you may need to find and collect your own food. How to identify and safely gather food from sources like plants, berries. Know how to identify and safely gather food from sources like plants, berries, and small animals. Okay, yeah, that's true. Again, pretty generic, not telling you how to do it. It's just kind of a general item. Number 14, know how to make shelter in the event of an EMP. You may need to make your own shelter. I think it's getting confused here. Know how to construct a basic shelter using materials like sticks, leaves, and traps. I think that the computer is conflating wilderness survival with an EMP. That's my guess. Or maybe it's not telling us about. I'm just trying to think about how the computer is thinking, right? Maybe it is thinking that there will be a lot of fires to be dealt with, and so houses might burn down and you might have to go get shelter, which could be true. But it didn't really fully explain that to us, and so it just goes into just making your own shelter. I don't know. It seems like it's getting a little bit confused with wilderness survival, but let's keep going. Number 15, know how to defend yourself. If law and order break down in the aftermath of an EMP, you may need to defend yourself and your loved ones. Consider learning self-defense techniques or getting a weapon for protection. Okay, that's pretty cool. Open AI is pro Second Amendment. I like that. I think that's great. Again, it doesn't give you any recommendations on what kind or how many or whatever the case may be. Maybe that would be a good topic for a future video, is to try to get it to talk about that. I don't know if it would. But that's interesting. So, yeah, self-defense. That's a good one. Number 16. Know how to treat injuries. In the event of an EMP, medical care may not be readily available. Know how to treat basic injuries like cuts, bruises, and sprains. Okay, so that's a little weird. Good round, solid, survival advice. Know how to treat injuries. An EMP itself wouldn't necessarily cause injuries, especially cuts, bruises, or sprains. But the reaction to the EMP, with vehicles losing power, potential fire starting, different things like that. A lot of chaos ensuing. Those kinds of knowing how to treat those injuries would be pretty important. It just doesn't provide any of that context per se. So that's kind of interesting too. Let's see here. Which one were we on? Know how to treat injuries. And number 17, stay informed. Keep track of the latest news and updates on the situation and follow instructions of authorities and emergency responders. Okay. I mean, that's good. You're not, depending on where you live, you're going to have to, you might have to have a shortwave radio or something to get any kind of radio signal in, because it could be a several state area that got knocked out by an EMP. So, but okay, I mean, listen, he didn't say specifically by radio, it just said listen to authorities and emergency responders. So that's interesting. And then number 8, I think this just labeled it 18. It's not actually 18. It says, by following these steps, you'll be better prepared for an EMP and the challenges it may bring. Stay safe and stay prepared. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe and stay prepared. So that's it. What I've noticed between the 2 videos that I've looked at so far is that when you query it for like top 5, top 10 items, it does pretty good with general things. When you get longer into like top 17 kind of stuff like this one, it starts to kind of confuse the subject material a little bit. It doesn't seem to stay on point quite as much. I'm guessing because it's pulling from multiple sources, trying to gather a consensus from the internet or something. I don't really know exactly how it works. Well, I don't really know how it works at all. But just kind of trying to read between the lines here. I find it very interesting. So anyway, pretty cool, pretty interesting. I did a video talking about EMPs not too terribly long ago. The prepper community as a whole is really, really worried about EMPs, and if one did happen, it would be a big deal. But it's not as big a deal as what we previously thought. The congressional report on EMPs gave us the impression that, and which is the study that everybody kind of focused on for a long time. It gave us the impression that one nuke could take out the power grid for the whole United States. Subsequent, more recent studies, I think it was from EPRI, if I don't hold me to that, but I did a video on it so you can look and see. It actually is more likely that it would be a several state area, and the items that would be affected on that could probably be brought back up. The grid could probably be brought back up in a few months, as opposed to several years. So that is positive, right? That's a good thing. It's not quite as catastrophic as what we thought, but it still makes sense to prepare for it, because our society is heavily leaning on electricity and digital technology. As we move towards a digital currency, which we empirically are, there's no scenario in which we're not moving towards a digital currency. Our vulnerability to EMPs will become even more. And so I do think that it does make a lot of sense to put an EMP shield on your house and on your car. On your house to protect your items like your refrigerators, your microwaves, food processors, whatever the case may be, all of your electronic items that plug in your house. The reason you want to protect those is because if everybody else doesn't protect them, let's say we do get an EMP attack and the grid goes down for a few months and you survive, okay? Then when it comes back up, if none of the stuff in your house works, you're kind of hosed, because everybody else is going to be trying to get stuff too, right? And there's going to be a whole lot of chaos that has ensued in that few months. And the supply chains are going to be wrecked for years. But if you can protect the items in your house for a few $100 ahead of time, and I can save you $50 by using the discount code Reality Survival, then you're money ahead. You're money ahead of everybody. Not to mention the fact that you got to use your refrigerators and all that kind of stuff when the grid was down, if you had, you know, a generator, a backup generator, and all that kind of stuff. And then your vehicle. The vehicle makes a lot of sense to me too, because you spend a lot of time away from home, and getting home to get to your family, to me, in a critical situation like that, is very important. Yes, there'll be a lot of chaos. Yes, there'll be a lot of traffic. But in my opinion, my desire and my will to get home to my family is not going to be stopped by some bad traffic, okay? I can tell you that. I'm going to get home. And I'm going to do that because I know my vehicle is going to be running because I have an EMP shield on it. So just something to think about. Just got an alert from On-Scene Alerts. That sucks. Aviation FAA orders national ground stop for all aircraft destined for where? Just got to click the link here. Destined for an airport in Florida due to air traffic control issues. Interesting. Okay. On-Scene Alert, very cool service. It tells you what's going on. Just happened to happen as I'm recording this video. But it'll send you texts anytime there's like a situation, an ongoing situation that you need to know about. You can just go to onscenealert.com, put in the discount code Reality Survival. When you check out, it'll save you 30%, and you'll be hooked up. And you can get those alerts sent to all your family members and all that kind of stuff too, so they also know what's going on. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, that is that for the top 17 ways to prepare for an EMP according to Open AI Chat GPT. I found this interesting. I think we're to a point where we're quickly, very soon, we are not going to be able to tell what is produced by AI and what is produced by people and their own content. And if you are an early adopter of technology, I can see a million different ways how you can use this information, this capability, to make a living, right? I mean, it seems like to me, again, I don't know what the terms of service are. I'm not sure exactly how all this stuff is supposed to work, but it seems like to me that you could generate script after script after script after script and put it out there on podcasts or YouTube or wherever, and start generating income from it. I mean, it's just so easy to do. This script was produced in like 2 seconds, right? And there's a lot of information in here. Look how long it took me to read it, and most of it it's mostly okay. It's not great. It doesn't go into a great level of detail, but it didn't give you any really bad advice in this one. At least in the last one, it gave one piece of bad advice, but in the rest of this, all the items were practical. They made sense, and they weren't bad. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I mean, I don't know. I find it fascinating. I've got a few more videos that we're going to do this on. Kind of going to be a little series here, because I'm just interested in trying to understand how the AI works and what it'll give you based off of what you're asking and all that kind of stuff. I find it really fascinating. I think AI could be, if used properly, it could be a great way to move society forward. But if used wrongly, and if there's not ethical imperatives placed in the programming of it, it could be extraordinarily dangerous as well. But we're living in it. This is interesting times. This is happening, and we're just going to have to see what happens, because it's here. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to live the 6 P's. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe.